I wanted to talk about a topic that is pretty controversial, I would say, because nowadays many people live like they're not gonna die, and the death is kind of like hidden from us. You know, it's hidden into the hospital or hospice, like somewhere far away from us, so we don't see it. I've heard one really cool tradition from one Irishman, and he was just describing how they celebrate, or basically how they mourn and celebrate the person who is either dying or who died, and how releasing it is. It's a big relief. They're really embracing the deep sadness and the real pain of losing the loved one. At the same time, they're remembering the good things that they experienced with the person. They're singing, and they're always those people who are just there to cry, basically. They're helping others to embrace that tears as well and cry as well, because when they see other people crying, they'll cry as well. So I don't know how they are called in English, actually. We have a special word for it in Czech, but yeah, maybe I'll look it up and maybe I'll just write it here in the video. But anyways, I also feel that the Western medicine has approached to death as a disease that has to be somehow eliminated. It's not okay, and we gotta get rid of it, which to me it's bizarre, and it's really kind of crazy, because it's a cycle of life, and I mean, I don't know, I don't think that we're ever gonna be wiser or have it figure out better than nature, which I think that we as human species have a tendency to do. We always come up with something that's gonna be totally better than what nature created, and it's never better. I mean, look at all the plastics that is all over the world because we invented it. We thought it's great, but it's actually not so great. But anyways, I don't want to go on the tangent about that. I think that it's actually good that, well, every culture has a different approach to recognizing death, deceased people and people who passed away and our ancestors. What I was noticing, for example, in Thailand, they have like those little tiny houses for the ghosts basically, and they're putting offerings there. What we do in Czech, we go to the graveyard, we light up candles, and we make a little prayer or whatever, you just think about the person that you loved and you lost. And in other cultures you celebrate the Halloween. And I think now it's like super commercialized and it's craziness. And trick-or-treating, of course, it's kind of fun for the kids. What I liked about trick-or-treating, I experienced trick-or-treating for the first time my first year in US. In 2013, I went on a walk with my friend Kamisha, and it happened to be Halloween, and I've never been trick-or-treating, and we were just walking in the neighborhood, and people just started talking to us, and they were offering us candies, and I'm like, wow, okay, I guess like we can trick-or-treat even without makeup or like some mask, which was kind of fun. What I really liked about it was the community sense, the feeling of people were not shut down, they were talking to neighbor or just random people walking by, which we don't do normally. It's just very like, we're just like close, like I'm not gonna talk to strangers, stranger danger, right? That was kind of like really interesting and sweet, and I enjoy that. I don't like the commercial aspect of it. Yeah, I don't like all the gore and like that's not my thing. But yeah, I understand why people have the need to do something about this, because ultimately I think it's part of the life. Death is part of the life as being born. It's a transformation. When I was at the birth, there's also like a little death, you know, you're losing yourself, you're becoming somebody else, so you're just dying to who you were, and you're being born to who you are becoming. So you're becoming a mother and a family father. And so the death and birth, it's very close to one another. And I just believe that it's important to talk more about death. Why is it okay that the euthanasia is administered to the pets, but it's not administered to the person, you know, the people? Why do people have to suffer and it's not humane the pets to let suffer? Like, I don't get it. That's just not something that I understand, really. I think that we just gotta talk about it more. I think that it's actually legal in Switzerland, and if you have about, I think $5,000, I think that's how much it costs to get euthanasia, then you can die there peacefully, you know. I'm not saying that it's for everyone, but there are just so many people who are dying in so much pain, and I don't think it's necessary. Why is it okay that people can suffer and die in pain, but it's not okay for the pets? Like, it just blows my mind. That doesn't make any sense. And they're saying like, well, it would be misused or whatever. I don't think that like people are evil and they'd be just like killing each other with euthanasia left and right. I don't know. Death is, for me, it's not ultimate. You know, like, it's not the destination, or it's not the end. I know that for many people is, and I think that that's why people are trying so badly prevent it from happening. I'm not saying that I'm just like, you know, going to embrace death and I'm just gonna die, or I wanna die. I don't think that anybody wants to die, you know, but we are gonna all die. And when someone we loved pass away, we are faced with our own mortality. And I think it's very important to embrace everything that comes with it. You know, whether it's depression or sadness, anger, blaming yourself, or, you know, whatever reason, like you didn't tell them you loved them or something. I mean, some of you who are watching my videos, you may know that my brother passed away 5 years ago. It's coming up on the 6th year. And it was very hard. I was blaming myself for not being close to him, for not helping him, for not being there where he needed me. And it was very hard. It was very hard not to blame myself, to accept that it happened, because it just happened so suddenly and so unexpectedly. Yeah, it was hard, and sometimes it is still hard. You know, there are moments, or there are anniversaries or celebrations or his birthdays when I feel really sad. I had a tendency to shove it up with food, not to feel my emotions, not to embrace it, because I was afraid. But living in fear is not really living, it's surviving. And so I am choosing to live and embrace whatever is coming my way, which is hard sometimes, and it's difficult, and it's sad, and or frustrating, or
there's fear.
But it's okay, because we're humans. I think that with nowadays social media, they are presenting everything beautiful and sunshine and unicorns all the time. It's unrealistic. And then we are kind of like forcing ourselves to live up to that standard of just living in some fantasy. I mean, even in fairy tales, there's always some evil and some bad, you know, emotions or something. So it's just totally a natural human feelings. It's just difficult because we're not taught how to deal with it, how to embrace it, how to be with our sadness, how to be and not drown in it. You know, I think that that's also very important, because, you know, we can just let go and go down and be just kind of crazy. To go down the spiral and just become super depressed and be on the other side, which neither of it is healthy, because it's an extreme. The bliss and happiness cannot be all the time. It's not linear. I mean, we can have the peace within, which I am feeling, especially when I'm okay, but it doesn't mean that we have to feel only the good feelings, call it positive feelings, whatever you want to call it. And yesterday I just been to a therapy. It's a special theta therapy, which is really cool. It's similar to hypnosis. It's not exactly as hypnosis, but that's where I was actually embracing the fact that I have been I had a tendency, and I had been stuffing my emotions with food and not really expressing my emotions because I had this idea that, you know, negative feelings and emotions aren't okay to express, and it's not okay to publicly express it. And if you don't want to publicly express it, you can express it in your home, because, or with your friends, or find a support group where you can feel safe enough to express it, because it's just so important not to leave it inside. Even animals, when they are faced with some very fearful situation, afterwards they shake, you know, they shake it off. I mean, they literally shake it off themselves so that stress doesn't stay in their body, because they just know, instinctual, that if you won't release that stress from your body, it's gonna cause something negative, something bad. And when we're not releasing that from our body, then we're becoming sick, because there's something stuck in us and it's not flowing the way it's supposed to. Then we just become sick. That's my belief as well. What was interesting after my brother's funeral was that the week after, I was asked to take pictures at another funeral of a person who was deceased because he was from Ukraine and part of the family couldn't come, and they just wanted some pictures for the people who couldn't come, which was kind of a bit bizarre to me. I was like, well, okay. And I didn't know how I'm gonna be able to take it, because it was just so fresh, you know, with my brother. I was seriously debating with myself. At the same time, I was like, well, you know, I'm gonna make some money and I'm, you know, gonna be at service, so I'll do my best. And I did go there. And what was so amazing for me was realization, some kind of peace that I felt. Death is not choosing, you know, somebody, but it's gonna happen to everyone. So every family is facing with death of loved ones. Every family is dealing with it at some point in their life. And that was kind of like very comforting for me, for whatever reason. The comfort was coming from a realization that I'm not the only one who's suffering. I'm not the only one who feels that deep sadness for my brother's death. I was not the only one, and I think that that's very powerful and very helpful to realize that and embrace that we are not the only one, and we can support each other and help each other on this journey, and embrace it and transform it and just go on, and not to be stuck in that depth of sorrow and darkness and sadness. It's very easy to get lost in it. We don't have to. There is so much help out there. What we only have to do is to ask or reach out. And sometimes some people will not know how to react or how to help you, so you gotta search a little bit. I found also that in death you find who's your real friend, who's really there for you to support you, because it's so raw, it shakes you to your core. There is a lot of escape. Drugs, alcohol, gambling, shopping, food, you name it, sex, whatever. But then we're not actually passing, like getting through it. You know, like the song, like you can go under it, you can go around it, you have to go through it. And that's exactly what I learned. And no matter when it happens, with whoever it happens, I think that with some people it might be a little bit easier than others. But ultimately, no matter when and how you lose your loved ones, it always makes your heart break. But what we can embrace is that with the heartbreak, we can let in the love, the light, the healing. Because when the heart is breaking, we are able to expand, grow, and become a better, more compassionate version of ourselves if we let ourselves. That is my message today. Let's embrace our loved ones that passed away. We can light a candle for them and make a little, you know, just a thought about them. We can just embrace the fact that they are part of us. They are still within us, and even though we cannot hug them and touch them anymore, they're still there in here. That's my message for today. So thank you so much for your support, for watching these videos. If you like it, please give a like to the video. Also click on the subscribe so you can see more of my videos, and I'll be looking forward to see you at my next video. Have a beautiful day and don't get lost at trick-or-treating tonight. Bye!